This video was brought to you by DistroKid. Before we get to the video, I'm going to take a second to talk about DistroKid. DistroKid is a service that allows you to upload your music and albums to the internet and streaming services and make money off of your music. For just $19.99 for their basic plan for a year, you can upload unlimited songs and albums and start making money. They put you on every major streaming site, over 150 of them: Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon, everything. And you keep 100% of the royalties. You can even upload cover songs. The industry has changed, and no longer do you need a record deal and a record label to get your music out there and start making money. Now this puts the power into the creator's hands. DistroKid gave me a special link that I'm going to put in the description down below. If you click on this link and sign up, any of the plans that you sign up for, you're going to get 7% off for your first year subscription, and that greatly goes to help out this channel. And seriously, this channel needs all the help it can get. All right, let's get to the video. I did it. I got a rectifier. For anyone that's interested in just the sound examples, I'm going to have that in a link down below so you can skip all of this. But for anyone interested, I'm going to kind of go over the features of the amp and a little bit of history with rectifiers. All right, this Mini Rec, while it is a mini rectifier and 25 watts, it's still rectifier in every single way. When I got it and plugged it in, put it on the gain channel and hit a chord, immediately I had that rectifier thick, saturated sound. Nothing quite sounds like a rectifier. They're very thick and spongy on the low end. They have a sizzle on the top end that's very pleasant and actually sits in a mix very well. And they're actually kind of a little bit more scooped. They're definitely not a modern sounding amplifier. They can be made to sound more modern by having a good, tight, mid-focused boost put in front of it, which a lot of bands do currently. But on its own, it's not really a modern sounding amplifier. But that kind of scoop adds to a wideness to it. It has an upper mid thing, so it still cuts through, but it has this wideness too, because there's a lot of saturation on the low end and on that sizzle I was talking about on the high end. And it also makes it sit really well in a mix with other amplifiers. This thing blends fantastic with other amps, and lately I've been blending it with my Fort and Cali and getting amazing results. The rectifiers came out in the early 90s and have dominated metal since. In my opinion, they're one of the top 3 metal amps of all time, along with the 5150 and the JCM 800, just for their impact on the metal world alone. With this guy, you have 2 channels, and you have kind of multiple voicings or versions of each channel. You have a clean, which you can have that nice, warm, round rectifier clean. Then you can switch it over to push, which is exactly what it says. It pushes it harder, it drives it more. You get kind of low to mid gain, kind of rocky crunch tones. And when you flip that over to 10 watts on both the clean and the pushed, it lowers the headroom. You can get harder clipping. It definitely adds a little something to it. Channel 2 is the gain channel. You have vintage and modern. Vintage is kind of an older 90s rec sound, whereas modern is more of a newer, but it's also got a lot more gain than the vintage sound, where the vintage is a bit less saturated, a little bit more crunchy. And when you switch it over to 10 watts, that also switches it over to a triode, and it kind of makes it a little bit rounder on the vintage side while giving a little bit more kind of uppercut. For all of my sound examples, though, I'm just going to be using this in 25 watt mode. So I'm going to go over some tones from different bands that have used rectifiers at one point, kind of get close to the tone they used with this guy, and I'm going to have all of my settings in the description down below so you can see what I had the amp set with, if I'm hitting it with an overdrive, or in one of the cases, a metal zone. So let's get to the tones.